Outlander's internal rift. Sam Heughan publicly criticizes Caitriona Balfe as the weak rays of sunlight filtered through the frosted glass windows of a small cafe in Edinburgh. Darren, a reporter for the entertainment magazine Highland Spotlight, was scanning the foreign news pages when a shocking headline caught his eye. Sam Heughan blames Caitriona Balfe for Outlander blocking. Darren frowned. He tried to imagine blocking. How could that be? He knew that Sam and Caitriona had worked together for years, through difficult scenes, and created very different characters, Jamie Fraser and Claire Randall. Blocking meant to hinder, to delay. It seemed unbelievable. But the headline was there, with a subline. Exclusive interview. Sam Heughan says, Caitriona frequently intervenes, sets limits. What has the actress said? Darren felt a pang in his heart, because if true, this would be one of the biggest rifts in the history of the fan-favorite couple for over a decade. With pen, laptop, and cold cup of coffee, he set about finding out. Controversial statement. Sam, in a late-night international TV interview, said, "Working with Caitriona is something I respect, but sometimes I feel like she sets rules that I can't go beyond. I have an idea for a scene, I want to push the character to the limit, but she thinks it's too much, thinks the audience won't understand, thinks it has to be safe." And then Sam continued, "Not all the time, but there were times when I felt like she was blocking the way I wanted to develop Jamie, internally, in terms of expression, because of the image. I wondered if I was being limited by someone inside the production, not from the outside." The statement went viral. Outlander fans were abuzz. Was Caitriona being too controlling? Was there conflict behind the scenes? Or was Sam just exaggerating in her personal feelings? Caitriona Balfe, after hours of silence, also issued a statement. "I appreciate Sam, his acting ability, and he has always been a great colleague. What I want is for us to work together, there to be a balance, for everyone to feel safe in their roles. I don't think it's a bad thing to put limits. Sometimes it's because of the director, sometimes it's because of the script, not necessarily because of an individual." The statement was conciliatory, gentle, not directly denying but also not completely agreeing with Sam's language. Fan reactions. Darren followed the developments on social media. Two main lines of opinion emerged. Those who supported Sam said the actor had the right to express his feelings, that as someone who had played Jamie for so many seasons, Sam understood the character deeply and sometimes wanted it to be more daring and groundbreaking. They believe Caitriona or the production manager should have been more understanding and let Sam experiment, not always play it safe. Caitriona's supporters say that responsibility goes beyond just acting personally, to ensuring the integrity of the story, ensuring Claire still has a voice, the right to express concerns if a scene might harm the image or emotions of the audience, or upset the balance in the character relationship. Some neutral fans share their frustration. They feel there may have been a misunderstanding on both sides, that the media, reporters may have tried to exaggerate the issue to create shocking news. They want a clear explanation from Sam, Caitriona, the director, the production, behind the scenes. Darren, with his professional intuition, decided to find out behind the scenes of the Outlander production. He contacted a production assistant, posing as Alex, who had worked closely with Sam and Caitriona during the last season. In the cold backstage lights, Alex says, there were actually a few scenes that Sam wanted to do differently. For example, there's a scene in the new season where Jamie has a long nightmare, darker than anything he's done before, but Caitriona and the director were worried it might be too haunting for the audience. Some of the more intimate scenes, dreams, nightmares, were written as if they had to keep the tone lighter for fear of losing mainstream viewers. Alex continued, I think the limit that Sam is talking about might be there, not that Caitriona wants to box him in for herself, but because of her responsibility to the audience, to the production, to the distribution network, to the ethics of broadcasting. There are scenes where the writer, director or producer says, if we make this scene stronger, we are afraid of being judged as going too far, or, it will shock the audience, it might be criticized. And Caitriona, who has played Claire for so long, understands the impact of shocking scenes, especially on women, on sensitive audiences. Alex also said, Sam is very passionate, always wants to challenge the character, push him to his emotional, physical limits. But the environment television, especially when it has a large audience, has many factors holding it back: networks, ratings, censorship. I think Sam may have felt caught between his own desires and the products being forced upon him. Sam looks back. After the comments and rumors spread, Sam decided to speak up more clearly. In front of the camera for an interview the next day, a strong light shone on his face. The camera zoomed in on his eyes, which looked a little tired, but Sam kept his composure. I apologize if my words made anyone feel like I was criticizing Caitriona or placing personal blame. That's not the case. Claire is a talented actress, and I have always respected her. What I wanted to say, and maybe I didn't use the right words, is, there are constraints in production where sometimes actors want to push themselves, want to do something more intense, more experimental, and feel that some people, out of concern for the consequences, choose to play it safe. Sam continued, I believe that creating art, especially in a series that is already beloved, means being bold, sometimes taking risks. I'm not saying the other side is wrong. I just feel that there might be ways for us to push the boundaries a little bit more, if there's enough understanding, if the team trusts each other. And I hope that Caitriona, and everyone, can see this not as a personal conflict, but as an artistic desire. Caitriona speaks. Caitriona, in another interview, for a feminist magazine, said, I know that art sometimes requires taking risks. When I played Claire, I always wanted her to be emotionally honest, strong, and have depth. If there is a scene that makes the viewer uncomfortable because of the honesty, I still think that is a value that must be there. But I also think that directors and actors should collaborate, listen to each other. If Sam feels he is being limited, I really want to know what those limits are, who set them, and for what reason. She continued, I'm not turning my back on art. I just want every decision to be considered, emotionally, ethically, because of the impact on viewers, especially those who are vulnerable. I made a lot of sacrifices to make sure Claire didn't become a shock value, or a ratings magnet. I wanted her to have depth, substance, a person, not just an icon, decoding the conflict, the underlying cause. Darren compiled the information, differences in understanding art. Sam thinks that being stronger, more challenging can take the character to new heights. Caitriona emphasizes safety, being true to the audience, especially vulnerable viewers, and even responsibility for the message. The role and influence of the production crew, directors, scriptwriters, and producers have the power to decide many factors such as the evil scene, if any, the color tone, the strength of the image. They are also under pressure from the station, from the rating, from the censorship law, from the public reaction. Pressure from the audience and the media. Viewers want to see bold, deep inner scenes, but some do not want to be shocked or psychologically traumatized. The media often exaggerates quarrels and conflicts to have outstanding news, personal aspects. Sam is famous for being someone who values authenticity in acting, likes to challenge herself. Caitriona, who always values the dignity and contribution of female actors, may worry about Claire being put in situations that are easily misunderstood or one-sidedly reflected. Risk of misunderstanding. Sam's reference to limits and blocking the way forward can easily be interpreted as personal blame. Caitriona's reference to safety can be interpreted as fear and restraint, when in fact it is often a matter of moral responsibility. Climax. Press conference. To resolve the growing controversy, the producers of Outlander decided to hold a joint press conference. A posh restaurant in Glasgow was chosen as the venue. The media and fan club were invited. Cameras, microphones, cameras everywhere. Sam stepped onto the stage first, dressed casually, a grey crew neck sweater, simple jeans, a serious but undramatic look in her eyes. Caitriona followed, also casual, her eyes gentle. The moderator said, "We are here today to share, to clear up misunderstandings, and to restore the audience's trust. Sam and Caitriona will speak together, and then answer questions." Sam began, "I want to say first of all that I value Caitriona very much, not just as a colleague, but as a friend, as someone who has shared many important moments in my life through Jamie and Claire. I don't think anyone wants to be misunderstood more than I do. What I said was that I felt personally, that for Jamie, I had a vision, not to break the mold, but to push the character to stronger, deeper emotions. If in the process, I said things that made anyone feel blamed, misunderstood, I sincerely apologize." Caitriona smiled slightly, continuing, "I also want to apologize if there was anything on my part that made Sam feel restricted. I don't think I wanted to block anyone. I wanted to collaborate. I wanted an environment where every actor felt heard. If there were moments when I was nervous, it was only because I wanted to protect the audience. I wanted to protect the character Claire, because she is important to me, with deep respect for the audience, especially those who are strongly affected by sensitive content." Sam nodded. "I understand that, and I appreciate it. I just wish we could have discussed it together beforehand, to have an approach that is both artistically strong and responsible. I wish the production team would listen more to the actors' ideas, have space to experiment. I also wish, Caitriona, that if you have concerns, we could speak up instead of rejecting them from the beginning." Caitriona, "I agree. It's good to have an open dialogue, not just between two actors, but between everyone, actors, directors, writers, producers. I believe that Outlander can still explore deeper depths, show darker corners, if we do it carefully, with consensus." After this conversation, the moderator opened the door for questions from the media. One question asked, "Does Sam feel like Caitriona has a lot of influence on creative decisions, like editing, scripts, director choices, and that sets the bar?" Sam replied, "I don't want to say that she's primarily responsible for every decision, it's a collective thing. But if someone like Claire has a say in a scene, about the content, about how it affects a woman, the psychological impact, then that voice can be heard more closely. And in a team with someone as experienced as Caitriona, her opinion is taken seriously. I think that responsibility should come with transparency. If a certain opinion leads to a scene being changed, be clear about why, so that no one feels they're being restricted without knowing why." Another reporter asked Caitriona, "Did you complain about scenes that Sam wanted to make stronger? Did you suggest rewrites, or something like that?" Caitriona replied, "I remember there were some scenes, especially psychological ones, dreams, flashbacks, where I shared my opinion that it could be too haunting if it was too strong, if the visuals were too heavy, if the sound and image were combined in a way that the viewer wasn't prepared for. I think that's normal in filmmaking. There are scenes that need to be edited to fit the overall experience. But, blocking the path, I don't think I did that. I just wanted us to slow down when we needed to make sure everyone was ready." Quote,